Hello everybody, welcome back to the Smash Fighter Ballot Choices video series that I basically just recently started. And the first one I talked about Simon Belmont. This time I'm going to be talking about Issa Joe from Sin and Punishment Star Successor, or just the Sin and Punishment series in general, and why I feel he would make a good character and should be in Smash Brothers. Now, I probably will be repeating myself because I've basically been stating this probably for the last 2 years or so now, but I do think, and I have went on the record saying that I do believe Sin and Punishment is one of those miscellaneous Nintendo franchises that really truly deserves to get a little bit more recognition than I think Nintendo even gives it credit for, and even gives it, uses it. Like, I mean, the first game we got that was in the series was on the N64, and it never got localized until like 8 years later when it was on the import for the Wii. And then we finally got Star Successor of the Earth, or whatever, on the Wii, and that's all they basically did. I think Sin and Punishment deserves more recognition, for, Smash Brothers, the fact that it is a key miscellaneous franchise to Nintendo history. I mean, it's not as high up as some of the more mid-range Nintendo franchises, but it fits right in there, and a lot of people like Star Successor on the Wii. It's pretty much a hidden gem on the system, and a lot of people go and like the original as well, and like the whole, on-rail shooters element, the interesting characters they have, interesting levels, the difficulty, the story, the gameplay, and everything that you basically get with that. And I think it deserves a little bit more recognition than I think Nintendo gives it credit for. And the reason why I'd pick Issa Joe over Saki Amamiya, and I've said this more times than I probably could count, is because he's the more recent hero. He's the localized hero. He was brought over. More people would probably know who he is than Saki, other than the fact that Saki is an assist trophy. And if we're talking about DLC here, how can Saki be playable if he's already an assist trophy? That kind of thing. And I'm just saying, like, more people would probably know Issa because he's localized. And when it comes to moveset potential, I think Issa Joe would be one of those characters that has a more interesting original moveset. Like I stated, he has a jetpack, which makes him more maneuverable around the stage. He can do some kicks and punches. He kind of knows some sort of melee-based attacks, but it's not big on his forte and his resume, on his moveset potential. And then the other thing would be the gun sword. So meaning he can go up close and attack people, but from a far distance he could blast away. So think of him as like a fox that's more maneuverable and can actually hover and do aerial-based stuff. Like, kind of like Pit. Take Pit's aerial with Fox's melee and blaster range type stuff. And throw in a bit of originality there with Spinal Smash, probably like Ruffian Transformation or something like that, and it would be kind of interesting. It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel Sin and Punishment gets shafted way too much because it's so minor, but at the same time it's as minor as like a lot of those more lower class franchises. Oh, I shouldn't say lower class, it's just mid-range, not on a big high level like Mario and Zelda, but in the same range as F-Zero, Star Fox, Golden Sun, Advance Wars, Metroid, 1080, Wave Race, and the mid-range franchises. And if it was put in Smash Bros., it would get so much more recognition. We'd be getting more Sin and Punishments. More people would know who the characters are, rather than Saki being stuck as an assist trophy twice, and I'm doubting he's going to move out of that range anytime soon in the next Smash Brothers. So I'm just saying, like, it's more of a personal choice with Issa, but I do see some people actually recommending him, some people asking for him, because sometimes when I post it, people are like, Issa Joe for the win and stuff like that, and I'm like, and I see other people talking about him, it's like, he does get recognized, he does get pushed, he does get, demanded, he is a character some people would like to see, but it's just you don't see him very often. So he'd be a come from behind, underdog type character, and it would give his franchise more recognition. And like I said, I'd like to see, I think he'd make sense as a player to give recognition to Sin and Punishment, his moveset potential, and to be like an underdog choice that basically would have an original moveset. That's my thoughts on Issa Joe. Put in the comment section. Sorry about that. Comment section what you guys think. Do you want to see Issa Joe in the game? Do you think Sin and Punishment deserves the character in the game? I certainly do. What about you? I'd like to have a comment, section down below. Discuss. I want to see everyone's opinions, whether they agree or disagree. And I'll see you guys later in my next video. Peace. Please subscribe if you want to, and have a nice day.